But he has some audience members that would also like to ask you a couple questions.
Steve, what is your question, buddy?
Well, I have a few. First, I guess you're the senior member of the racing teams. Has anybody...
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
I says, you are the
No.
Yeah. Wait, huh?
I don't want to hear it. I know I'm the oldest driver. I heard that already. You know, all I can tell you is I remember when I was the youngest driver. When I was 7 years younger than the next driver, at 19 years old. And I go to the team owners, I'd knock on their door, they come out thinking I want an autograph. And I said, no, I'm a driver, I want to show you my resume. I want to show you all these track records that I set in Formula Fords and Formula Vs. And they'd all listen for a few minutes, and they say, listen, son, come back when you're 40-something and you got a lot of experience. Well, now I'm 40-something and I got a lot of experience, and they still don't want to talk to me. So we had to start our own team. You know, the only guys that really loved it is Chevrolet. Chevrolet talks to me. So I want to pay him back with a really strong finish.
That's awesome. And Steve, you have a follow-up?
I have two questions. One, how are you dealing with the paddle shift? And the second is, how's your back?
Both are good. I love the paddle shift, you know. I mean, it's really incredible. I mean, the way you shift, it's not just the paddle shift, it's also the paddle clutch. I've used paddle shift and shift without lift before, and it really is trick. I mean, you can pull gears in the middle of the corners, you know, and the paddle clutch took a little getting used to for me this year, to be honest with you. I mean, I came from a time where if you ever over-rev the engine, you bent things. You can't over-rev it now. I mean, the rev limiter, the soft and hard limiter are so good. The electronics are so good. I mean, I'm really enjoying, you know, it's fly-by-wire. There's no wire connecting our throttle to the motor. I mean, that's hard to believe, you know. And so the electronics have come a long way, and I can tell you there's no question Chevrolet's electronics are better than Honda's this year, and it's been showing.
Guaranteed.
All right, we got Danny. And Danny says, Johnny, I got a question for you. And I looked at him, I'm like, you can ask him whatever you want. Danny, what's your question?
All right, real quick. I know there's been a lot of close calls over the years, but what's that one moment that sticks out in your head? That one, blank moment.
You know, to be honest with you, as a driver, you don't think about stuff like, you can't think about stuff like that, you know. So probably the hairiest moments I've had have been dealing with team owners, to be honest with you. But you know, as a race driver, it's not about those, you know, obviously I had an accident back in 1996 where I broke my back in 43 places. That was definitely an moment. You know, but I've been lucky as a race driver. Other than that one time, the rear wing came apart on me at Phoenix, and we were running around a 1 mile oval in almost 17 seconds, which I think is still the all-time record back in 1996. And the rear wing came apart, and I mean, I just destroyed the fence, the car. But I came back 8 weeks later from that accident to win this race. So that's probably the worst moment I've ever had, but I've never been injured in a race car other than that. You know, all the years we've been racing, it's just been minor injuries. So I guess I'm really fortunate that way. You know, I mean, I'll be honest with you, sometimes you see what some of these rookies do on the first lap, and there's a lot of moments just watching them, you know, but you know, really this place just takes so much out of the race driver, and it is so critical that, to be honest with you, every lap there are moments, because you're sitting there wide open and the front end slips just a little bit, and just faster than you can think, you need to make adjustments inboard. So, you know, we're constantly threading the needle here. You're in a four-wheel drift at averaging 225 miles an hour. It really takes a lot of focus.
Hey, buddy.
On the other side of that, of your blank moment, do you have a fondest memory here at this speedway?
Yeah, I mean, the fondest memory, of course, is driving into victory lane. You know, I mean, that's a special moment for any driver. Believe it or not, I don't think about it that much. What a driver thinks about are all those times that you could have won. You know, I've been second place here twice after I won, and those haunt you, especially when you know you shoulda, coulda won. You know, if it wasn't for one bad pit stop or a strange yellow or a guy blocking you and chopped your wings off. I mean, I've had honestly 3 or 4 runs here that could have been, should have been victories. I mean, I'd be a 3 or 4 time winner with just a little bit of luck. I mean, we've had a lot of bad luck at the very last moment. You make your own luck, but it is so hard to win this place. And that's why it's so hard to have a race car that's capable of winning. You know, to have the balance just right on race day. Because I guarantee you, come race day, there'll be cars that are right. There'll be the cream, and the cream will rise to the front. I don't care if they start on the last row or front row. If you give it time, they're going to find the front, and the bad cars are going to the back. And it's so hard to have a car that's a cream that when you have it, you want to take advantage of it, you know?
Buddy,